There we go. All right, if you are in your final year of medical school, and if you're planning on practicing in Canada, you need to be thinking about CaRMS, the Canadian Resident Matching Service. So today I'm going to walk you through the application with 4 key tips to complete that application, some things to take into consideration. First, hi, my name is Dr. Sarah Cleve, and I'm an admissions expert with BeMo. So the Canadian Resident Matching Service is a nonprofit organization that works with medical schools to provide a computer-based or algorithm-based matching service for students to enter into postgraduate training in Canada. If you're in the US, it's similar to ARIS, which we'll be addressing on a different day. So even though a medical graduate has a MD and the title of doctor, they still have to pursue 2 to 6 years of residency training before they can practice medicine on their own in Canada. And so CaRMS is this online portal that facilitates that. You use this to apply to the residency training position at the residency programs of your choice. And any medical graduate, whether they're based in Canada or abroad, has to apply through CaRMS if they want to pursue postgraduate residency or training of any specialty in medicine in Canada. So if you're from the US and you're thinking about doing residency in Canada, awesome, good for you. But do make sure that you apply through CaRMS. It's required of everyone, whether they're in Canada or not. So that goes for people from around the world as well. So there are 5 components to the CaRMS application. First is your CV, your curriculum vitae. This should list the educational and academic background that you have, honors, awards, employment, professional organization memberships, volunteer, extracurricular activities, and any research you've completed, highlighting publications and presentations at academic conferences. This should be in reverse chronological order, so your most recent accomplishments go higher. And you should also include the elective experiences that you've had, generally in well, it's usually in the second 2 years of medical school, but generally you have to take a certain number of electives as part of medical school, and that sort of points towards where you may go with your specialization once you get into residency. So you want to highlight the things that you've done, the specific electives that you've taken, so that the schools understand where you have competencies. And so that brings us to tip number 1 regarding the CV. Don't be afraid to include extracurricular activities. A lot of people think that if they're not doing something specifically directly related to school and to med school in particular, that shouldn't go on the CV. And that's really unfortunate, because you need to give the application reviewers a broader sense of who you are. They need to see that you have coping mechanisms, that you have activities or things that you just do to blow off some steam, to avoid burnout, and to overall maintain as much wellness physically and mentally as you can. So if there's something that you really enjoy doing that doesn't directly have to do with school, well, that's fine. That's okay. Tell them about it. But focus on the qualities that you have been able to develop and refine by virtue of participating in those extracurriculars. So the second part of the application is your transcript. If you're a Canadian student, your medical school will send these automatically to CaRMS. But if you're an international applicant, you need to send a signed and sealed copy of the transcript from your school to CaRMS by the deadline. Third component is the MSPR, or Medical Student Performance Report. This is something that's prepared and signed by the dean of your medical school, and it too is automatically sent to from your school to CaRMS. This includes every score that you've ever received on electives or core rotations, as well as comments from each rotation preceptor. Next is your reference letters. You need to ensure, first off, that you look at each department or program specific directions regarding how many letters to submit. This isn't necessarily a constant, and some want a letter form letter, some have individual forms that they use. So you need to check with each school to see what their regulations are. Usually it's 3 letters per program. And at least one, bare minimum one, should be a physician in your specialty. Now that brings us to tip number 2. In general, if you can, it's best if all of your referees are physicians or professors. Non-medical work, volunteer supervisors, family, friends, things like that, they're just not suitable referees. They're just not suitable referees for your application. You need someone who can speak to your professional qualities in ways that the people in those positions simply can't, with as much specialization and with the degree of nuance that other physicians or professors would be able to do. So again, look into how these should be submitted. Sometimes they are submitted directly through the website. Sometimes they still do paper mail. So if you do have to mail physical copies, consider getting a tracking number so that you can keep track of it and make sure that it arrives when it needs to. Personal statement. If you thought you were done with this once you got into med school, nope, sorry. In CaRMS, you have to write a personal statement again. Each program is going to specify exactly what they want you to write on, or whether they are just going to not give you a prompt at all and let you write whatever comes to mind. Make sure that you read each program's policies in terms of length, content, if there are any prompts, things like that. Usually there will be pretty strict word or character limits that you have to maintain. That brings us to tip 3. You need to start this process early, outlining your general thoughts about experiences that you've had during medical school. What experiences have led you to the particular specialty that you're pursuing now? What solidified your decision to do this and to really move forward with this much intensity? What challenges do you foresee as a physician in this area? How are you going to overcome them? What do you like most about this specialty? All of these questions you can think through to start putting together a record of what you've done, what you want, where you excel, and where you need more work. You can actually begin asking these questions and keeping a detailed record when you're still in med school. And that's really what you should be doing. You shouldn't be saving this until the very end or until the last minute before submission, because things get left out, things get forgotten when you're in a rush, and that's no good. It's better just to take your time and build this steadily over time. And remember, just as those med school applications and personal statements were meant to show off your personality and non-cognitive skills and core competencies, that's the exact same thing that you're looking for here. Just now you have different kinds of reflections than you did when you were entering med school, as you're in the process of finishing up medical school. So think about the traits that you possess or that you've cultivated during that time that complement the specialty or program that you're applying to. But again, starting early is really crucial here, because it's going to take time to really think through this to the extent that you need to write a compelling personal statement. So after you fill out the application, you may get invited for an interview. Those interviews usually happen in person or over video chat, sometimes over phone. So be prepared for that. But the last component of your overall application then is your rank lists. So I just want to talk about that for a minute. After you interview, each program is going to rank all of the interviewees, and at some point each applicant is going to have to make a list of their schools too, the schools that they would prefer to go to for residency. The algorithm in CaRMS will then sort of connect applicants and programs, and usually that match day happens around March. Now, tip number 4 is regarding these ranks. Do not rank any program if you have any doubts that you want to complete your residency there, not even as a backup or a contingency plan. If you know that you don't want to go to a particular region or a particular school, don't put it on your list. You should only rank those things or those places where you would be okay if you were attending, where you would be happy completing a residency, or at least not frustrated or miserable in some way. You don't have to rank every single program that you interviewed with. So you can leave things off if you don't think that you really want to go there. That said, most applicants should have a minimum of 6 programs. You do want enough wiggle room so that there are contingency plans, but the contingency plan should not be something that you don't really want to do. Do note that the CaRMS website has important information for students, including eligibility policies, procedures, match results, and deadlines. I'll make sure that a link to that appears either above or below this video so that you can check out their website. And I'm also going to include a link to our definitive guide to CaRMS, which has more information on all the things that I covered today. So I hope that you enjoyed this video and that it was helpful. If so, please do go ahead, like it, share it with a friend who might benefit from it, and be sure to subscribe to our channel on YouTube, follow us on Facebook, and look for us on a variety of other social media. Feel free to comment with any questions you might have. If you'd like us to help you with your residency prep or any other aspect of the application and admissions process, please click the link that should appear either above or below this video to see our programs and schedule your free initial consultation. We'll set you up with one of our admissions experts to answer any questions you might have and get you started on your preparations. We have programs to suit any of your needs, and we are happy to work with you to determine which plan will support you most effectively. As ever, thank you so very much for your time. Take good care, and I'll see you next time.